This is for you, my favorite person. I don't know where you are right now, or what time it is when you're listening to this. Maybe it's late at night. Maybe it's early in the morning. Or maybe you're simply taking a quiet moment for yourself. If you're here, thank you for staying with me. This isn't just a story. It isn't just another podcast. It's a collection of feelings I've carried for a long time. Feelings I never found the courage to say out loud. There were so many messages I never sent. So many conversations that only existed inside my mind. So many moments where I wanted to say, I miss you, but I stayed silent. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared more than I knew how to express. So today, I'm leaving those words here. Not to change the past, not to ask for anything, but simply to let them exist. Because silence becomes heavy when it's filled with things you've never said. And sometimes, the only way to let your heart breathe is to finally give those feelings a voice. Called this, To My Favorite Person. Not because it sounds beautiful, but because it's the most honest way I know to describe you. You were never just another person in my life. You became someone my thoughts always return to, even on ordinary days. Someone whose name quietly stayed in my heart, without asking for permission. Tonight feels quiet, and quiet nights have a strange way of bringing back memories. Not the loud ones, not the dramatic ones, but the small moments, the ones you never expected to matter until much later. That's what this story is. A memory that refused to disappear. And maybe a gentle goodbye to everything I never said. I still remember the beginning, not because it was perfect, but because it was simple. Sometimes the simplest moments become the ones we remember the longest. When I first met you, nothing extraordinary happened. There was no dramatic moment, no music, no sign telling me that one day, you would become someone so important to me. It was just another ordinary day. Another ordinary conversation, another ordinary person, or at least, that's what I believed. Our first conversation wasn't deep. I don't even remember every word we said, but I remember how I felt, a little nervous, trying to sound normal, trying not to overthink anything. And you were simply yourself, comfortable, natural, easy to be around. There was something peaceful about your presence. You weren't trying to impress anyone. You weren't pretending to be someone else. You were just being you. And somehow, that was enough. I still remember your smile, not because it was perfect, but because it felt genuine. The kind of smile that happens without thinking. The kind that quietly makes everything around it feel lighter. Looking back now, I realized that was the first thing I carried home with me. After that, our connection wasn't built through big moments. It grew through small ones. A conversation that lasted longer than expected. A message I found myself reading twice. A joke that stayed with me for the rest of the day. Little by little, those ordinary moments became memories. And without realizing it, I started looking forward to them. That's the strange thing about beginnings. You never know you're living inside one. There isn't a moment where life tells you, this person is going to matter. Simply happens. Quietly. Slowly. Naturally. First, you were just someone I enjoyed talking to. Then, you became someone I noticed a little more. I started paying attention to the little things. The way you answered. The way you paused before speaking. The way your kindness appeared in the smallest actions. None of those things seemed important on their own. But together, they slowly changed something inside me. There was one moment. I still remember it clearly. Nothing special happened. Nothing anyone else would remember. But for me, It felt like something quietly shifted. It was the first time I realized my mind had started making space for you. Not because I planned it, not because I wanted it to happen. It just did. I didn't fall for you in a single moment. There wasn't one magical day where everything changed. Instead, I kept choosing to stay a little longer in every conversation. I smiled a little more at your messages. I noticed you a little more than everyone else. And before I understood what was happening, you had already become part of my everyday thoughts. Looking back now, I can finally see the truth. The beginning wasn't when we met. The real beginning was the moment my heart quietly started paying attention. I didn't know it then, but those simple conversations, those ordinary days, those little moments that seemed so unimportant, were already becoming the foundation of a story I would carry with me for a very long time. And maybe that's how the most meaningful stories always begin. Not loudly, not dramatically, but softly, one small moment at a time. I didn't notice it at first. That's probably the most honest thing I can say. Nothing inside me changed overnight. There wasn't a single moment that suddenly made me realize how important you had become. Everything happened quietly, so quietly that I didn't even recognize it while it was happening. First, I told myself you were just someone I enjoyed talking to, just a friend, someone who made ordinary days feel a little brighter. That explanation felt safe. It didn't ask me to admit anything I wasn't ready to face. But feelings don't always grow loudly. Sometimes they appear in the smallest habits. I found myself thinking about you for no reason, a random moment during the day, and somehow your name would cross my mind. Not because something had happened, not because I was trying to remember you. Simply happened naturally. I smiled a little longer after reading your messages. Sometimes I'd read them again. Not because I had missed anything, but because I liked the feeling they left behind. When our conversations ended, they didn't really end inside me. They stayed, echoing quietly throughout the rest of my day. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing, just coincidence, just habit, just another passing feeling. But habits don't usually make your heart feel lighter. They don't make you wait for someone's reply without realizing it. They don't quietly change your mood just because someone appears or disappears. Little by little, I started noticing something I couldn't explain. Your silence felt different from everyone else's. Your presence felt different too. Without asking for it, you had become someone I considered. Before making decisions, before sharing stories, before ending my day. And that's when I realized this wasn't just another friendship anymore. It wasn't something dramatic. It wasn't a movie scene. It was something softer, something deeper, a feeling that slowly found its place inside me. I didn't fall for you all at once. I simply kept choosing every small moment we shared, until one day, those moments became part of who I was. Sometimes people ask, what made you fall in love? And honestly, I never have a simple answer, because it was never just one thing. It was never one perfect moment. It was everything small, everything ordinary, everything you probably never realized I noticed. I loved the way you spoke when you felt comfortable. Not when you were trying to sound impressive, but when you forgot to be careful, when your words became natural, when your laughter escaped before you could stop it. Those were my favorite moments. I loved your smile, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. It had a way of making ordinary conversations feel warm. It made difficult days feel a little easier. And somehow, I always carried that feeling with me. I loved the little pauses before you answered a question, as if you actually thought about your words, as if every conversation mattered. That small habit told me more about you than long conversations ever could. I admired your kindness, not the kind that asks for attention, but the quiet kind, the way you listened, the way you cared without making it obvious, the way you could make someone feel comfortable simply by being present. You probably never realized how much those little things meant to me, but I noticed. I noticed almost everything. The way your mood changed, the way your voice sounded different on difficult days, the little expressions that appeared without you realizing, the tiny details that most people would probably forget. To anyone else, they were ordinary. To me, they became unforgettable. And maybe that's what surprised me the most. I didn't fall in love with something extraordinary. I fell in love with your ordinary, with the version of you that wasn't trying to be perfect, the version that simply existed. Because somehow, that version always felt the most beautiful. There was something familiar about you, something peaceful. Being around you never felt like work, felt like resting, like finding a place where I didn't need to pretend to be anyone else. After talking to you, the silence never felt empty. It felt warm, as if part of you remained even after the conversation ended. And that's something I never knew how to explain. You became part of my everyday thoughts, without ever asking to be. I never planned for any of this. If someone had told me in the beginning that one day I'd be sitting here, telling this story, I probably wouldn't have believed them, because everything started so simply. And maybe that's why it became so real. Love doesn't always arrive with grand gestures. Sometimes, it quietly hides inside ordinary conversations, inside shared laughter, inside comfortable silence, inside the feeling of looking forward to seeing someone again. That's how it happened to me. Not with fireworks, not with dramatic confessions, but with patience, with attention, with countless little moments that slowly built something my heart couldn't ignore anymore. Looking back now, I realize I never loved you because you were perfect. I loved you because you were you, because your kindness, your laughter, your honesty, your quiet way of caring made my world feel softer than it had before. And maybe that's the most beautiful kind of love, the kind that grows slowly, the kind that asks for nothing, the kind that quietly changes you before you even realize you've changed. By the time I understood what I was feeling, it was already too late to pretend it was nothing, because somewhere between ordinary conversations, shared smiles, and quiet moments, you had become someone my heart chose, long before my mind ever admitted it. First, I told myself nothing had changed. Everything still looked the same from the outside. We were still there, still talking, still connected in some way. But something inside that connection started to feel different. Not suddenly, not clearly, just quietly, like a slow shift that I couldn't point to. I kept telling myself it was normal. People get busy. Life changes. Conversations naturally slow down sometimes. I wanted to believe that, because believing anything else felt heavier than I was ready for. So I waited, not loudly, not in a way anyone could see, but inside me. I waited for things to feel the same again, for conversations to return to what they used to be, for that ease, that comfort, that simple flow we once had. But it didn't come back the way I expected. Instead, there were small changes. Messages became shorter. Replies took longer. Silence started appearing more often between conversations. And slowly, silence stopped feeling empty. It started feeling meaningful in a way I didn't like. Not peaceful, not comforting, just noticeable, too noticeable. I began to overthink small things. A delayed reply, a short message, a conversation that ended earlier than usual. Things I would have ignored before suddenly started staying in my mind longer. I kept asking myself, did something change? Did I do something wrong? Or is this just how things naturally become? But I never had a clear answer. And that uncertainty was the hardest part, because when nothing is clearly broken, you don't know what to fix, and you don't know what to let go of either. There were moments I wanted to reach out, just to ask simple things. How are you? Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? But I stopped myself every time, because I didn't want to feel like I was asking for more than what was left. I didn't want to feel like I was holding on alone. So I stayed quiet, even when I wanted to speak, even when I missed the way things used to be. And slowly, that silence started building something inside me. Not anger, not frustration, just a quiet heaviness, a feeling of holding too much without saying anything. I learned something painful during that time. Missing someone doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes, it looks like pretending you're okay, while quietly noticing how different everything feels. There were days I told myself I was fine, that nothing had really changed, that I was overthinking. But there were also moments where I knew I wasn't fine at all, because I could feel the distance, even when you were still there. And that kind of distance is confusing, because it's not absence. It's not ending. Something in between. Something you can't name properly. Something you can't talk about easily. So I kept everything inside, hoping it would pass, hoping it would return to how it used to be. But some things don't return. They only change. And I didn't know how to accept that at first. I kept holding on to the version of us that existed before, not realizing that version was already becoming a memory, and the present was something different, something quieter, something harder to understand. I started changing too, without noticing at first. I became more careful with my words, more hesitant with my messages, more aware of when to speak and when to stay silent, not because I wanted to, but because I didn't know where I stood anymore. And that uncertainty slowly changed how I showed up. Even when I didn't want it to, I stopped expecting things the way I used to, not because I stopped caring, but because expecting too much started to hurt. So I learned to expect less, to feel less, to say less. And every time I did, something inside me became a little quieter, but also a little heavier. There were moments I missed you in ways I couldn't explain. Not just missing conversations, but missing the feeling, the ease, the familiarity, the version of things where I didn't have to think too much. And maybe that's what I realized slowly, that it's not always the person you miss the most, but the version of how things felt with them. Eventually, I stopped asking myself why things changed so much, because I realized some answers don't bring comfort. They only bring clarity, and clarity isn't always what the heart wants. So I stopped searching and started accepting, not all at once, not peacefully, but gradually, like learning to breathe in a different atmosphere. I accepted that things had shifted, that nothing stays the same forever, that people change, feelings change, connections change, even when no one intends for it to happen. And somehow, that acceptance didn't erase the feelings. It only changed their shape. You didn't disappear from my thoughts. You just stopped feeling like a question. You became something quieter, something I learned to carry instead of chase, something I no longer tried to fix or understand, just something that exists, And maybe that's what acceptance really is. Not forgetting, not letting go completely, but learning how to live with something without letting it break you every time you think about it. And even now, there are still moments, small ones, unexpected ones, where I feel that old familiarity again. Not pain, just memory, and I let it stay, without resistance, because I don't need to fight it anymore. I don't need to change it. I don't need to go back. I just understand it now, and that understanding is what slowly replaced confusion, not happiness, not sadness, just peace in its quietest form. If I could say just one thing to you, I think I already know what it would be. But saying it out loud feels different, because words once spoken can't be taken back. There are so many things I never said, not because they weren't real, but because I didn't know if I was allowed to say them, or if they were meant to exist outside of me. So I kept them inside, where they felt safe, where they couldn't change anything between us. But now, I don't think silence is protecting anything anymore. It's just full of everything I never said. If I could say one thing, it would be this: I felt you more than I ever showed. That's the truth I carried quietly for a long time. There were moments I cared more than I admitted, moments I noticed more than I reacted, moments I stayed longer in my thoughts about you than I ever stayed in reality with you. And maybe you never saw that, because I didn't let it show. Not because it wasn't real, but because it felt safer that way. But carrying it quietly never made it smaller. It only made it heavier. If I could go back, I don't think I would erase what I felt. I think I would only change how alone I kept it. Because feelings aren't meant to stay locked inside forever. They grow, they echo, they become something you carry even in silence. There were so many things I wanted to say. Simple things, honest things. But I stopped myself, because I didn't know what would change if I spoke. So I stayed quiet, and that silence became part of me. If I could say one thing, it would also be this: I didn't understand it while it was happening. I didn't understand why you stayed in my mind so easily. Why small things about you stayed longer than they should have. Why your presence felt different, even when nothing was happening. I tried to explain it to myself. I tried to make it smaller, to make it temporary, but it never became that. Because some feelings don't follow logic. They just exist. If I could say one thing, I would say, you mattered in ways I didn't know how to handle. Not in a loud way, not in something dramatic, but in a quiet way, a constant way, the kind that slowly becomes part of your inner world, without asking permission. And that's why it stayed, because it never forced itself. It simply became part of me. There were times I wanted to tell you, not everything, just a small part. Something simple like, you're on my mind more than I say. But I never did, because I didn't know what it would mean after that. And I was afraid of losing even the little we had. So I stayed quiet. And now, those words just live inside me, repeating softly, without being heard. If I could say one thing, maybe it would be the truth I avoided the most. I didn't just like knowing you. I felt you staying with me. And that changes everything. Because it means you weren't just part of my days. You were part of my thoughts, my silence, my quiet moments, the spaces between everything else. And even now, you still are. But differently, more softly, less painfully, more like memory than longing. And after everything, after all the feelings, after all the silence, I find myself thinking about something I never focused on before. You. Not the past, not what we were, but you as a person. I hope you're okay. Not just fine, not just getting through the days, but truly okay, in a way that feels light again. I hope your mornings are gentler than before. I hope your nights don't feel heavy. I hope your thoughts are kind to you, even when life isn't. I hope you find people who stay, people who understand you without needing explanations, people who don't make you question where you stand. I hope you laugh again, the real kind of laughter, the kind that doesn't feel forced, the kind that comes without thinking, because I still remember that version of you. And I hope life lets that version of you return often. If I could wish something deeper, I would wish that you never feel like you weren't enough, or that you were too much. 'Cause to me, you were neither. You were simply you. And that was enough to leave a mark on someone like me. I don't need anything from you now. No answers. No return. No explanation. Only peace for you. And maybe peace for me too. Not the kind that forgets, but the kind that understands, that accepts, that lets go without hatred. There was a time I thought you were part of my story. Maybe you still are. But now I understand something different. Not everyone is meant to stay in the same chapter forever. Some people exist in a part of your life, and then become memory. Not something to erase, but something to carry gently. And I think that's what you are now. Quiet part of me. Not loud anymore. Not painful. Just present. In a way I've learned to live with. And that's okay. So if this is the last thing I ever say, I want it to be simple. I want it to be honest. And I want it to be kind. Thank you. For the beginning. For the moments. For the memories I didn't realize mattered at the time, but now mean everything. Thank you. For being someone who stayed in my thoughts longer than I expected. And for shaping the way I understand love now. Even if it was quiet. Even if it was never spoken fully, and even if it didn't last the way I once imagined, it still mattered, and it always will. So this is goodbye. Not a loud goodbye, not a painful goodbye, just a soft one, the kind that doesn't erase anything, but simply lets it rest. I hope life is kind to you. I hope you find everything I couldn't give you. And I hope you become everything you deserve to be. As for me, think I'll be okay. Not because I forgot you, but because I learned how to carry you differently now. So, goodbye, my favorite person.